Stop wasting your life. Here's the financial secret nobody tells you. You might think that building wealth is complicated, a secret reserved only for the ultra rich or those born into money. You've seen it in movies, in magazines, even in social media, the golden yachts, the luxurious cars, the sprawling houses. And deep down, you may have wondered, is there a formula, a pattern that only millionaires know, something they've mastered while the rest of us struggle to make ends meet? Well, I'm here to tell you there is. There's a formula, a method, a set of principles that every wealthy person follows, consciously or unconsciously, that allows them to accumulate, grow, and sustain wealth in a way that the average person can only dream about. And no, it's not about luck. It's not about timing the stock market. And it's definitely not about winning the lottery. It's about choices, actions, and a mindset most people overlook until it's too late. Let me start with a story. Imagine two people, same age, same starting point, same income. Sarah and Michael both turned 40 this year. Sarah has 150,000 saved. Michael has 160,000, just a 10,000 more. Not a big difference, right? Most people would think they're basically the same. Their lives are similar, but fast forward 20 years. Sarah retires at 60 with $2 million. Michael is still working at 62, wondering why he isn't financially free despite having more money at 40. How can a $10 difference at the start lead to a multi-million-dollar gap later? The difference isn't just the money. They made different decisions in the critical years that followed. Sarah followed the wealth formula. Michael didn't. Here's what most people fail to understand. Wealth isn't about how much you make in any single year. It's not about salary, bonuses, or inheritances. It's about how consistently you apply certain principles over time. Let's break down the core idea in a way anyone can follow. Step one is mindset. Mindset is not some vague motivational speech. It's concrete. Millionaires see money differently. They view it as a tool, a resource, a multiplier of freedom. The average person sees money as comfort or survival. When your mindset shifts, your decisions shift. You start seeing opportunities instead of obstacles, and you stop making small, silent mistakes that quietly erode your wealth over time. Step two is your savings behavior. It doesn't matter if you earn $50,000 a year or $500,000 a year. The principle is the same. Consistency beats intensity. Millionaires don't save sporadically. They automate. They treat saving as a non-negotiable expense, the first money out of every paycheck, not the leftover at the end of the month. Let me be blunt, if you're waiting until the perfect time to save or telling yourself, I'll start next month, you are giving up the most powerful advantage you have: time. Time is the secret multiplier that compounds your wealth, silently growing while you sleep, while you work, while the market works for you. Step three is intelligent investing. And when I say intelligent investing, I don't mean risky speculation. I mean disciplined, strategic growth that leverages your time, your risk tolerance, and your financial goals. Millionaires invest in assets that appreciate and compound. They understand that money sitting idle loses value over time due to inflation. They balance risk and reward, diversify strategically, and stay disciplined even when emotions scream at them to sell during a market drop. This is where Michael failed in our story. He kept money in low-interest accounts, delayed investments, and let fear dictate his choices. Sarah started small, but she started consistently, and she let compounding do its work. Now, contrast this with the average person. Most people earn a decent salary, spend most of it on visible symbols of success, new car, bigger house, lifestyle upgrades, and convince themselves they are financially responsible. But the wealth formula doesn't care about appearances. It rewards actions that build real value, not the illusion of value. It punishes complacency and indulgence. Every unnecessary dollar spent today is a lost opportunity for your future self. It may seem subtle and visible, even ignorable now. But in 10 or 20 years, the math is brutal. Let's talk about the fourth step, increasing your income strategically. Here's where most people hit a wall. They assume earning more is about luck or a promotion that may or may not come. Millionaires take control of this. They negotiate, they upskill, they create side income streams. Not because they want more stuff now, but because every extra dollar invested strategically compounds and accelerates their path to freedom. Think of it like this: if Sarah had simply relied on her 60Z, 1,000 annual salary and didn't increase her income, she might have reached 2 million instead of 2 million. That extra 2 million difference came from intentional, consistent actions to grow her earnings while controlling her expenses. Step 5 is lifestyle discipline. This is where most people fail emotionally. It's not fun to live below your means, to say no to your friends, to forego the luxury vacation or the new car. But discipline isn't about deprivation. It's about prioritizing your freedom over temporary comfort. Sarah chose to live in a modest home, drive a reliable car, and delay indulgences. Michael chose the opposite. At 40, the sacrifices don't feel like much, but at 60, the contrast is staggering. One lives with abundance. One works to survive. You can see the power of compounding choices isn't just in numbers. It's in lifestyle freedom. Step 6 is risk management. Millionaires protect their wealth aggressively. They insure intelligently, they diversify, they avoid unnecessary debt. Debt is one of the silent wealth killers. High interest debt erodes your financial stability faster than any market crash. Sarah knew this. She kept consumer debt minimal, used leverage only when it accelerated growth without increasing risk unreasonably. Michael let credit card balances and unnecessary loans slowly drain his potential. The difference isn't dramatic monthly, it's exponential over decades. That's the wealth formula at work: small, consistent decisions that grow or shrink your financial destiny. Step 7 is tracking and reviewing. Millionaires measure their progress constantly. They know where they are, where they need to be, and whether their actions are working. Sarah reviewed her net worth quarterly, adjusted her investments, cut unnecessary expenses, and seized opportunities to grow. Michael checked his accounts casually, assumed things work out, and ignored the math. Guess who retired comfortably and who had to work into his 60s? The answer is obvious. Numbers don't lie, but humans do if they don't track carefully. Now, here's an important contrast. Most people ignore emotion vs. logic. Most people let fear, envy, pride, and laziness dictate financial decisions. Millionaires leverage emotion intelligently. They channel desire into growth, use fear as a motivator to act early, and let logic guide the majority of strategic decisions. This isn't cold, it's calculated freedom. You can't imitate this by reading one book or watching a few videos. You must internalize the principle, make it a habit, and repeat consistently. Let me share a concrete example. Imagine two friends, Lisa and Kevin, both 45. Lisa saves $20,000 annually, invests wisely, automates everything, and increases income over time. Kevin saves sporadically, splurges on lifestyle upgrades, and waits for the right opportunity. In 15 years, Lisa retires with over $2 million. Kevin retires with the $750,000 and faces financial stress. The difference. The wealth formula applied consistently. It isn't luck. It isn't a single brilliant trade. It's the sum of small, smart, repeated actions over time. Contrast matters. One life of consistent choices versus one of sporadic indulgence leads to drastically different outcomes. Finally, understand that the wealth formula is not static. Life changes. Jobs change. Markets fluctuate. Health changes. Relationships change. But the principles remain constant. Every millionaire I've studied applies them in some form mindset: saving, investing, income growth, disciplined lifestyle, risk management, tracking, and intentional emotional use. They bend circumstances to their advantage instead of letting circumstances control them. And the remarkable thing, anyone can start. You don't need a special education, connections, or inheritance. You need awareness, discipline, and the willingness to start now. So, ask yourself honestly, are you letting fear dictate inaction? Or are you ready to channel that same fear into deliberate, disciplined action? Because the difference between ordinary financial struggle and extraordinary financial freedom isn't magic. It's the wealth formula you choose to implement every single day. You can start today. You can decide to save, invest, track, and grow consistently. You can increase your income intelligently. You can live below your means intentionally. You can automate your wealth building process. You can review, adjust, and persist. Every small step compounds into massive future advantage, just as Sarah did, just as countless self-made millionaires have done. Now that you understand the core principles of the wealth formula, let's dive into how to practically implement them in your life, starting today, because knowledge alone is useless without action. Most people know what they should do. They read articles, watch videos, attend seminars, but they don't take meaningful steps. The gap between knowing and doing is where millions of dollars are made or lost. Let's explore that gap. The first practical step is to calculate your personal wealth baseline. Most people have no real idea of where they stand financially. They know their bank account balance, maybe the value of their retirement account, and perhaps the amount they owe on a credit card. But that's only a fraction of the picture. Your baseline includes all assets, retirement accounts, savings, investments, real estate, business equity, and anything else of value. It also includes liabilities, credit card debt, loans, mortgages, or any other financial obligation. Subtract your liabilities from your assets, and you have your net worth. This is your true starting point. Without knowing it, you are navigating in the dark, hoping things work out, while time and inflation silently erode your future. Once you know your baseline, the next step is to set a precise target for your wealth goal. Many people say, I want to retire comfortably, or I want financial freedom. But those phrases are vague and lack measurable power. The wealth formula relies on specificity. Ask yourself, how much annual income do I want in retirement? $60,000, $100,000, or $150,000, multiplied by 25 if you plan to retire for 25 years, or divide by 0. 0 using the safe withdrawal rate to know the lump sum needed. This is your concrete, actionable target. Knowing this number transforms your planning from wishful thinking into strategic action. Here's where contrast framing becomes essential. Let's revisit two individuals, both age 50. One has $400,000 saved, the other $500,000. On the surface, $100,000 seems small. But the way each approaches the next 15 years creates dramatically different results. The first person does nothing beyond letting the money sit, hoping the market grows. The second person increases income, reduces unnecessary expenses, and invests aggressively. Fast forward 15 years, and the first person ends up with $950,000 and barely enough for a modest retirement, while the second person surpasses $2 million, living with security, freedom, and the ability to help family and travel. That 100,000 difference in mindset and action compounds into a 25 million difference in outcomes. This is the power of consistent application of the wealth formula. Now, let's talk about income augmentation strategies. If you're relying solely on your primary job to build wealth, you're leaving money on the table. Millionaires understand the leverage of multiple income streams. This doesn't necessarily mean becoming a business owner overnight, though it could. It means using your skills, expertise, and time to generate additional cash that feeds your wealth building engine. Consider consulting freelance work, investing in dividend, producing assets, or creating passive streams like rental income or royalties. Each additional dollar you earn, if invested strategically, compounds over years to a significant impact on your ultimate net worth. Equally critical is lifestyle discipline. Millionaires don't necessarily live frugally because they enjoy austerity. They do it because they value freedom more than temporary indulgence. Consider your own spending habits. How much of your income goes to depreciating assets, short-term pleasures, or lifestyle inflation? Every dollar spent unnecessarily is a dollar that could have been multiplied through investment. Start tracking your expenses today. Identify areas where spending does not produce long-term value. Small daily choices, cooking at home instead of eating out, choosing reliable used cars over new luxury models, delaying non-essential purchases, accumulate into hundreds of thousands, if not millions, over decades. Next, let's address investment discipline. Many people know they should invest but fail because of fear, confusion, or procrastination. Millionaires invest consistently, regardless of market conditions, because they understand that time in the market beats timing the market. They diversify, allocate strategically between stocks, bonds, real estate, or other assets, and stick to long-term plans. They don't react emotionally to market dips. They see these as opportunities. Let's compare two hypothetical investors. One invests $25,000 annually for 15 years at an 8% return. The other invests $50,000 for the first 5 years, then stops entirely. Surprisingly, the first investor surpasses the second in total wealth because consistency and time allowed compounding to work. This illustrates the subtle yet powerful difference between strategic patience and erratic behavior. Another pillar of the wealth formula is automation. Millionaires don't rely on willpower. They design systems that remove choice. Your paycheck should automatically allocate into investments, savings, and necessary expenses, leaving only disposable income for lifestyle spending. This prevents impulsive decisions that erode wealth. But it's extremely effective. The human brain is wired for instant gratification. Left to your own impulses, even financially responsible people will overspend, sabotage, and delay investing. Automation eliminates that risk, ensuring growth happens consistently, almost effortlessly. Now, let's explore the psychological aspect, fear and urgency as tools for action. In every story of extraordinary financial transformation, the individual reached a point where they confronted the brutal truth of their situation. It might have been seeing a low net worth, a mounting debt, or the realization that retirement would not happen without sacrifice. This fear catalyzed decisive action. Contrast this with individuals who ignore warning signs, postpone decisions, or convince themselves that there's plenty of time. In 10 or 15 years, the difference is staggering. The lesson is clear awareness plus urgency triggers action, which compounds into wealth. Tracking progress is another differentiator. Millionaires meticulously monitor net worth, savings rate, investment growth, and income streams. Why? Because what gets measured gets managed. Without visibility, Small errors accumulate. Without reviewing, opportunities to optimize are missed. A simple monthly review, tracking every asset and liability, can transform financial behavior. Celebrate small wins, identify gaps, and adjust actions accordingly. Over time, this disciplined feedback loop accelerates wealth growth. Let's return to contrast framing with two women, Karen and Emily, both 48. Karen saves aggressively, invests consistently, automates contributions, and tracks everything. Emily saves sporadically, splurges on luxury items, and ignores her net worth. By 63, Karen retires with $1 million traveling, helping family, and living freely. Emily retires with $950,000, stressed, partially relying on family, forced to work part-time. They started similarly, but choices compounded dramatically differently. This is the essence of the wealth formula. Decisions now define decades of future freedom or struggle. Now, consider the concept of sacrificial investment windows. There's a period in life where focused sacrifice yields outsized results. For many, it's ages 40, 55. During this window, prioritizing investment over lifestyle allows compounding to create exponential returns. Michael, from our earlier example, waited too long to adjust. Sarah understood this window and leveraged it fully. By committing to disciplined saving, income growth, and strategic investment, the results were extraordinary. Recognize your window, take bold action, and accept temporary discomfort for long-term freedom. Another essential principle is selective risk taking. Wealthy individuals understand that not all risk is equal. They avoid reckless speculation, but embrace calculated risks with high expected returns. This could mean investing in growth assets, starting a business, or pursuing new income opportunities. Ordinary investors often either avoid all risk, missing growth, or take impulsive risks, leading to losses. The wealth formula requires knowing the difference and applying calculated risk where it accelerates your financial trajectory. Finally, the concept of emotional mastery is critical. Every financial decision is intertwined with emotion. Fear, envy, pride, and desire all influence outcomes. Millionaires channel these emotions strategically. Fear drives action. Desire fuels discipline. Pride is redirected toward measurable achievement, and envy is replaced by self-focus and learning. Ordinary investors let emotions dictate spending, savings, and investment choices. Mastering emotion isn't optional, it's essential. Let's now focus on one of the most overlooked aspects of wealth creation, the power of compounding time and consistency. Many people underestimate the exponential effect of repeated, disciplined action over years. Consider this: saving $1,000 per month may seem modest. It doesn't feel life-changing today. But if you consistently invest that amount at an average annual return of 8% in 20 years, it grows to over $500. That's the magic of compounding. The key is not only saving consistently, but also starting as early as possible and resisting the temptation to withdraw or divert funds. Every year you delay is a lost year of exponential growth. Let's examine the psychological principle behind this delayed gratification. Human brains are wired for immediate reward. That's why we spend impulsively, indulge in luxuries, or procrastinate investments. Millionaires override this instinct. They deliberately postpone immediate pleasures for long-term gain. This doesn't mean living miserably. It means prioritizing your financial freedom over transient comfort. Sarah, from our earlier example, didn't see the sacrifice as punishment. She framed it as opportunity, the bridge to independence, peace of mind, and the ability to live life on her terms. Next is strategic diversification, a pillar that separates enduring wealth from fragile wealth. Many people invest in a single stock, a single property, or a single income stream, believing It's sufficient. Millionaires understand that wealth isn't a single bet. It's a portfolio of intelligently chosen assets that collectively grow and protect each other. Stocks, bonds, real estate, businesses, and intellectual property form a balanced ecosystem. Diversification doesn't just protect against loss. It accelerates growth by allowing each asset to compound according to its strength while minimizing exposure to failure. Now, contrast two approaches. One person invests everything in a hot stock they heard about from a friend. Another person invests in index funds, real estate, and a side business simultaneously. Both start with 100 Zalos, and 10 years later, the first person may have doubled or lost half. The second person, through diversification and consistent contribution, has reliably built wealth regardless of market volatility. The first relies on luck, the second relies on a formula. Predictable, repeatable, resilient. That predictability is what allows millionaires to sleep soundly at night, while the average investor wakes in anxiety at every market headline. Another principle often overlooked is leveraging opportunities with calculated urgency. Time is the only resource that cannot be replaced. Millionaires act decisively when a clear opportunity arises. It could be investing in a growing market, acquiring a property below value, or launching a profitable side venture. Hesitation often costs far more than risk itself. Consider the contrast. Two friends see the same opportunity, a property, at a discounted price. One hesitates, worrying about short-term cash flow or minor uncertainties. The other acts decisively, secures the property, and watches its value double in a few years. That decisive action compounds, contribute to long-term wealth far beyond what cautious hesitation could achieve. Now, let's discuss the importance of minimizing lifestyle inflation. Most people, when they earn more, spend more. They upgrade their homes, cars, vacations, and gadgets, often unconsciously eroding potential wealth. Millionaires intentionally control this. When income increases, a portion always goes into investments, savings, and assets that multiply over time. Contrast this with the average person. Their paycheck grows, their lifestyle grows, and their net worth stagnates. Wealth is not about high income alone. It's about high income combined with disciplined allocation. Here's a story to illustrate this market. Jennifer both received 20,000 raises at age 45. Mark increases his spending proportionally. New car, bigger house, lavish vacations. Jennifer increases her investments by 50% and enjoys the rest modestly. By age 60, Mark's net worth barely improved. Jennifer's exceeded expectations. That simple choice to allocate income wisely, repeating it year is the essence of the wealth formula. It's not glamorous, it's not viral, but it works. Next, consider emergency preparedness as a financial accelerant. Many people ignore financial buffers, assuming life will go smoothly. Millionaires build safety nets, emergency funds, insurance, liquidity. Why? Because unexpected events, job loss, health issues, market crashes occur. Having a safety net ensures that wealth-building activities continue uninterrupted. For example, if you face an emergency and must liquidate investments impulsively, you lose years of compounded growth. With a buffer, you stay on track. Your investments continue growing, and opportunities are seized instead of missed. Another differentiator is strategic mentorship and learning. Millionaires continuously learn from those ahead of them. They seek advice, read, and adapt strategies proven by others. Contrast this with those who rely solely on intuition or conventional wisdom. Knowledge alone is not enough. It's the application of knowledge from proven sources that magnifies results. Having a mentor or role model accelerates your trajectory. preventing costly mistakes and guiding you to opportunities you might never notice alone. Now let's focus on the principle of exponential action. This is the idea that small, consistent steps are powerful, but occasional high leverage actions like a career pivot, a business launch, or an investment in growth opportunities compound results dramatically. These actions aren't reckless, they're calculated. They require awareness, preparation, and the willingness to act boldly at the right moment. Those who hesitate miss these multiplicative opportunities, while those who execute see enormous gains. This is what separates ordinary wealth from extraordinary wealth. Let's talk about financial accountability. Millionaires hold themselves accountable and often enlist partners or advisors to maintain discipline. They track progress, review actions, and confront uncomfortable truths rather than ignoring them. Imagine two friends, each with 200,000 saved at 45. One regularly reviews finances and just investments and ensures goals are on track. The other hopes things work out and procrastinates. In 15 years, the difference is millions. Accountability doesn't just improve compliance, it magnifies discipline, creating a multiplier effect across every financial decision. Another key point is leveraging tax efficiency. Every smart millionaire understands that the tax system can either erode or accelerate wealth. Strategic use of retirement accounts, tax-advantaged investments, and legal deductions allows money to grow faster than it otherwise would. The contrast here is clear. Two individuals earn the same income, invest the same amount, but one leverages tax strategies while the other doesn't. The difference in net accumulated wealth can be staggering over decades. Finally, let's examine mental framing of wealth and scarcity. Millionaires operate with abundance-oriented thinking. They see opportunities where others see limitations. They focus on growth rather than fear of loss while maintaining risk awareness. Ordinary people often default to scarcity thinking, fear-driven decisions, delayed action, and stress about money. That mental orientation impacts choices daily, from spending habits to investment strategies. Adopting an abundance mindset aligned with disciplined action amplifies results exponentially. Let's summarize the principles in action through another real-world scenario. Two professionals, Robert and Alice, both 42, have similar incomes and savings. Robert focuses on instant gratification, ignoring long-term strategy. Alice applies the wealth formula, disciplined savings, strategic investments, diversified portfolio automated systems, multiple income streams, lifestyle moderation, and accountability. Over the next 18 years, Alice retires with financial freedom at 60. Robert retires later, working part-time with financial stress and limited options. The difference, the formula applied consistently, combined with patience, foresight, and strategic action. By now, you may realize that the wealth formula is simple, but not easy. It requires consistency, discipline, patience, and calculated action. It demands confronting fear, making temporary sacrifices, and mastering your emotions. Most people shy away from this because it challenges their comfort zone. They prefer incremental indulgence over long-term freedom. Millionaires, on the other hand, embrace discomfort today to secure comfort, freedom, and opportunity tomorrow. Now it's time to bring everything together into a practical, actionable roadmap you can follow starting today. Understanding the wealth formula is one thing, but applying it consistently is what separates millionaires from the rest. Let's walk through the steps that will put you on the path to financial freedom. Step one is awareness and assessment. Sit down and calculate your true net worth. List all assets, cash, retirement accounts, real estate, businesses, and any other valuable holdings. Then list liabilities, debts, loans, and obligations. Subtract liabilities from assets. This is your starting line, the foundation of every decision you make. Most people skip this step because it's uncomfortable to face the reality of their financial situation. But discomfort is the catalyst for change. Without a baseline, you're building strategies on assumption rather than fact. Step 2 is goal setting with precision. Decide exactly how much you need to retire comfortably, how much annual income you want, and when you aim to achieve it. Don't say enough to live comfortably. Define numbers. If you want $100,000 per year in retirement, your target net worth at a 4% withdrawal rate is $5 million. This clarity transforms vague ambition into measurable action. When you know the exact target, every choice, every dollar saved, every investment decision becomes intentional. Step 3 is create a disciplined savings. Millionaires automate this. Before you spend a dime, money is allocated toward savings and investment. Don't rely on willpower. Set up automated transfers to investment accounts, retirement funds, or other growth vehicles. Treat saving as a mandatory expense. This is non-negotiable. Waiting to see what's left over is a trap. Time is your most powerful tool, and compounding works only if funds are consistently invested, not left idle. Step 4 is strategic investment. Diversification is key. Allocate assets across stocks, bonds, real estate, and other vehicles aligned with your risk tolerance and long-term goals. Avoid emotional decisions. Market fluctuations will happen. Millionaires stay invested, understanding that temporary volatility is the price of long-term growth. They focus on growth assets early in their journey, adjusting allocations as retirement nears to protect capital. This balanced approach multiplies wealth while minimizing catastrophic losses. Step 5 is lifestyle discipline. Every dollar you spend today is a dollar that could grow tenfold tomorrow. Evaluate lifestyle choices carefully. Do you need a brand new car, the largest house in the neighborhood, or expensive vacations every year? Temporary indulgence may feel rewarding now, but it delays freedom. Millionaires know the difference between short-term pleasure and long-term abundance. They live below their means strategically, not out of fear, but as an investment in freedom, peace, and opportunity. Step 6 is income growth and diversification. Don't rely on a single source of income. Seek opportunities to increase your primary income, negotiate raises, upskill, or pivot into higher paying roles. Explore side income streams, consulting, freelancing, rental income, or online business ventures. Every extra dollar invested intelligently accelerates your path to financial freedom. Remember, it's not about earning more to spend more. It's about earning more to grow your wealth faster. Step 7 is emergency planning and risk management. Build an emergency fund to cover at least 6 to 12 months of expenses. Ensure adequate insurance coverage, health, disability, property, and life insurance. Manage debt carefully. Avoid high interest obligations. These steps protect your wealth building engine from disruption. Life is unpredictable, but your wealth strategy should be resilient. Having a safety net ensures that opportunities continue to compound instead of being derailed by crises. Step 8 is tracking and accountability. Review your net worth, savings rate, investments, and income streams regularly. Monitor growth and adjust as needed. Celebrate milestones, identify gaps, and course correct. Accountability, whether to yourself, a partner, or a financial advisor, creates a discipline multiplier. Without review, it's easy to drift into habits that erode progress. With review, you accelerate growth, reinforce positive behaviors, and stay aligned with your ultimate goals. Step 9 is leveraging calculated risk. Growth requires embracing strategic risks that offer high potential returns. This could be starting a side business, investing in growth assets, or seizing a discounted opportunity. Millionaires do not gamble recklessly. They calculate research and act decisively when probabilities favor them. Hesitation or fear costs far more than controlled risk-taking. Recognize opportunities, evaluate them logically, and execute with confidence. Over decades, these decisions compound into exponential wealth. Step 10 is emotional mastery. Wealth creation is as much psychological as it is mathematical. Fear, envy, desire, and pride influence daily decisions. Millionaires use emotions to their advantage. Fear triggers action, desire fuels discipline, pride motivates achievement, and envy becomes a learning tool. Ordinary people allow emotions to dictate behavior over spending, procrastinating, or making impulsive investments. Mastering emotional responses to money decisions multiplies the effectiveness of every other principle formula. Step 11 is leveraging, compounding, and time. This is the silent engine behind all wealth creation. Every month, every year you invest consistently, returns grow upon returns. Even modest amounts accumulate significantly over decades. Starting now, even with small amounts, is far more powerful than waiting for a perfect time or a windfall. The earlier you begin, the longer compounding works in your favor. The difference between starting today and starting 5 years later can be hundreds of thousands, if not millions, by retirement. Step 12 is learning from mentors and proven examples. Surround yourself with those who have achieved what you desire. Study their strategies, adapt their actions, and avoid their mistakes. Knowledge alone isn't sufficient. It's the application of proven methods that accelerates results. This network creates an informational advantage that exponentially increases your chances of success. The wealthy rarely stumble blindly. They replicate what works, refine it, and implement it consistently. Step 13 is reviewing and adjusting periodically. Life is dynamic. Markets fluctuate, opportunities change, and personal circumstances evolve. The wealth formula isn't static. It requires regular review and adjustment. Rebalance investments, reassess risk, update goals, and remain agile. Ordinary investors ignore this, assuming once set, a plan runs itself. Millionaires know that small, timely adjustments compound into massive differences over time. Flexibility within a disciplined framework is a hallmark of sustained wealth. Now let's apply contrast framing one final time. Imagine two individuals, Alex and Jenna, both 45. Alex understands the formula and applies it consistently: savings, investing, automation, diversification, lifestyle discipline, income growth, accountability. Jenna ignores these principles, focusing on appearances and short-term comfort. By 60, Alex retires with $5 million, living freely, traveling, and supporting family. Jenna retires with $850 and stressed, reliant on part-time work, and facing constant financial anxiety. Both started similarly, but consistent application of the wealth formula created a gap nearly 3 times larger than initial savings differences. Finally, understand this: the wealth formula is not about luck, timing, or inheritance. It's about deliberate choices compounded over time. Mindset shapes every decision. Discipline saving channels resources effectively. Strategic investment leverages compounding. Income growth accelerates progress. Lifestyle moderation frees capital. Risk management preserves wealth. Accountability maintains consistency. Emotional mastery ensures logical execution. Time amplifies every action. Applied consistently, this formula works, regardless of starting point, background, or market fluctuations. Your future self is already watching you right now, judging the choices you make today. Will you follow the path of disciplined, calculated action, applying the wealth formula? Or will you drift, letting fear, procrastination, and impulse control your destiny? The truth is, millions of people live in financial regret simply because they delayed action. You have the opportunity to start now, to take deliberate steps, and to build the wealth that allows freedom, security, and the ability to live life on your terms. Take a moment right now and commit. Calculate your baseline. Set your target. Automate savings. Invest intelligently. Control your lifestyle. Increase income strategically. Protect your wealth. Track progress. Master your emotions. Size opportunities. Learn from mentors. Adjust as needed. Repeat daily, monthly, annually. These actions, applied consistently over years, create the financial security and abundance that most only dream of. The choice is yours.